Now that's how you sing the national anthem. Katie O'Gara from West Islip right before the state final.
And I had the pleasure of listening to her about 4 or 5 times because she did it before every playoff game. She did it before the semifinal, the final. She did it before the Long Island Championship,
What year
the county
is she?
final. She's senior.
Where's she going to college?
I'm not sure she's going to go play lacrosse in college. So I'm not sure.
She's got to be in theater then.
Great.
Oh, she's big time.
American Idol.
She was on American Idol?
No, I'm saying she could be on
She
American
would
Idol.
win American Idol.
She's fantastic.
Raff, I am a huge national anthem fan. Like, to me, one of the things as an American that drives me more crazy than anything is when people don't stop during the national anthem. I would pray that there was not a single person moving up at Cortland during that national anthem.
Everyone.
No, I'm not kidding. That's as good. That's as right up there with Whitney Houston during the
great.
Super Bowl.
It was great.
And you know what was great about it? It's from her heart. It's right before a game.
Yep.
And there was none of that extra stuff.
No.
She sang it like an athlete. She sang it like a competitor. She sang it from her heart. That young lady should be singing that. I hope that's not the last time she sings the national anthem. Raff, one of the great renditions of all time.
When she did it the first time, I believe I saw her at the county finals.
Why am I hearing about this right now?
Because you weren't at the games with us. So when she did it for the first time at the county finals, nobody knew she was going to do it. And she belts out this great, from the Dowling press box, she belts out this great, as you heard.
So she did that a week ago, and then she did it again?
She did it 4 times.
And now this is the first I'm hearing of it.
And we said, we all looked at her, we gave her high fives when she was walking out, we gave her, standing ovation. We said, hey, that was unbelievable. And then the best is she runs out of the press box and runs across the field. And then I told you she did the same thing for the Long Island Championship. And what happened before the state semifinals.
They messed her up, huh?
It was very funny. This time,
it's funny if you're not Katie.
Yeah, they were going to have her do it from the field instead of the press box, because in Cortland it's a much different setup.
Beautiful facility.
Great facility, but to get to the press box from where the field is, far. And by the way,
where are you looking?
You.
Oh.
Slowest elevator.
Worse than Stony Brook?
Much worse than Stony Brook.
Oh my God.
So they figured, okay.
Do they have people pulling ropes?
Yeah, it seems like it. Maybe in the first elevator ever created. So she was going to.
The first elevator ever created was in Cortland, New
It
York?
might be. I mean, that's how slow it is. And when she started to sing, the handheld mic didn't work. So the only thing they could do is run her straight across the field, around the stadium. She took the elevator up. She came up next to me in the press box. She did the song. She came down and ran across the field, and watching her sprint across the field and everyone clapping for her was a great sight.
Wait a minute, but she was singing the anthem on the field.
That was the state semis, what I just said, and then for the finals, it was back on the field again. They figured out the stick mic situation.
That was incredible. Did you have any idea before you saw her do it at Dowling that she could do that?
Oh, no.
That's the best part of this show.
It was great.
It's incredible.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you meet her parents?
I did not.
Really?
I did not.
We need to find out where she's going to college.
Okay.
Because she's big time.
She's a powerful, powerful voice.
How'd she play in the game?
She didn't play, but she did. She kicked it off the right way. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Hey, I was coming out of Dunkin' Donuts the other day in Norwalk.
Right.
And they got the Dunkin' Donuts, and then there's the gas station. I go in there, get my 7 papers, get the cup of coffee, gonna go down to the beach Sunday morning, read the papers, bring my highlighters.
What's more important, the coffee or the newspapers?
The newspapers.
I don't believe that. I don't think you can function without coffee.
No, I can. I went a long time. I went almost 20 years without drinking coffee. I went from February 1st, 1982, without having a cup of coffee until December of 2002 when I started putting the crusade together.
Yeah.
So I went 20 years without drinking a cup of coffee, and that crusade was just so intense. I was just trying to stay awake. I gained 20 pounds in 5 weeks putting the crusade together.
Wow.
Eating peanut M&Ms, drinking coffee, 20-ounce Diet Cokes, and like pizza just to stay awake.
Right.
It was crazy. I saw my girl Kristen Woods. You know who that is?
Of course I do.
She's the new Canaan lacrosse coach. She was pumping gas, and I walked, Coach!
Did you think it was Jodie Foster?
It's amazing when I look at her. She is really Jodie Foster. She's pregnant again. having another
Congratulations,
baby
Coach.
in September. And that's good news. That's the best news. But the other good news is they're still involved in Class M. Young team. We were talking about Olivia. Remember Olivia? How good she was?
Yeah.
She said one of the great competitors of all time. So they're going to play today in the Class M semis. She's going to put her 14-6 Rams against Avon, the number 1 seed at 17-2. New Canaan's going to beat them. And then Wilton in the other semifinal is going to beat New Fairfield, which means on Saturday at Bunnell High School, you're going to see New Canaan and Wilton in the Class M.
Just the way it should be.
You're going up there, right?
I will be in Connecticut.
New Fairfield upset the number 2 seed, Joel Barlow. They rolled them 15-8. They're both out of the SWC conference, so.
Which a conference that you give no respect to.
Not true.
Very true.
No, I don't give. It's not that I don't give them any respect. I don't give them as much respect as the FCA.
Right, because you said.
And now, how about Greenwich? So I said, Coach, maybe Greenwich, has a shot against Derry. And
Gone.
Mike, they lost. What happened? When did that happen?
Yeah.
So, but she does look like Jodie Foster. She really does. Great personality.
Yes, definitely.
Great personality. And so that's it. Connecticut, like the boys, the girls are still playing. Otherwise, this would be the final poll show.
We got to wrap it up with Connecticut.
What's it like to finish? Are you a finisher?
I like
You
to
consider
finish.
yourself a finisher?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing.
I would love it. If somebody said I was a finisher, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool
it's a good thing.
finisher. How about this Gretchen Richter?
Richter.
Is she related to Mike Richter?
Yeah, it's funny. The guys just asked me that.
Right. Well, you talked to Gretchen. Did you ask her?
I didn't ask her because I don't know if she's not. Is she less important if she's not Mike Richter's
No, but it would be
daughter?
pretty cool with the playoffs going on and everybody thinks, Mike Richter, goalie, the whole thing.
And what if she's not?
Okay, that's pretty cool too. But I just thought that, he's from that region,
Right.
like up there in Westchester,
Right.
Greenwich. I think he was going to run for office.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, but I don't know if he did.
I'll tell you one thing. He'll still have, in a day or two, he'll still hold the title for greatest Rangers goalie of all time.
Why is that funny?
Well, if you're not a Ranger fan.
That looks like you have a Ranger shirt on. By the
Believe
way,
me, I don't have a Ranger
let
shirt
me
on.
ask you a question. I've noticed when you sat down, you were fidgeting with that shirt. Did you downsize? Are you going into another one of your weight loss things?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Lauren home yet?
Of course.
She didn't travel anywhere this weekend?
Not this weekend.
Tell me about this girl, Gretchen Richter.
We didn't talk about much about her this year because we didn't talk about Bronxville a lot.
Well, because they won their first ever title.
Right. But we started covering them at the end, and I said last week on the show that if Cold Spring Harbor wants to win the game, they have to figure out how to slow her down. She's 6 foot tall. She's an attack. I found that after the game, she's only been an attack for 2 years.
Right.
So to accomplish 200 goals
That's incredible.
is a pretty amazing feat. And she got it in her last ever game.
She put 199 goals into the game, right?
She needed 1 goal in the state semifinals. And guess what? She got exactly 1 goal in the state semifinals. And here it is against Cold Spring Harbor. Early in the game, Bronxville held it close for a little while. Cold Spring Harbor pulled away, but Gretchen Richter got her 200th career goal.
I don't like when in sports where they say there's no loser in a game, because there is. But if there was any playoff game around the tri-state this week where there was no loser, it was Bronxville. Because now what they're doing, like the boys, they're building a program. This will not be the last time we see Bronxville up in Cortland.
Well, and I agree with that because you can tell by the mood of teams after the game. Like I talked to West Islip and they were devastated. We'll see some sound bites in a few minutes, but Bronxville, they lost the game and they lost big.
16-4.
But they weren't devastated because they knew this was a building block.
Huge.
They knew that the better years are to come, and they knew that you have to experience this atmosphere, this Cortland field, what it's like up there before they can win a state championship.
Did Gretchen know who you were in the interview?
I don't go around asking people, do you know who I am?
Well, I'm like, oh wow, you're the Raff.
But I don't do that.
You don't?
Do you?
What?
Do you say, am I Mike?
No, I've
do you
never
know me?
asked.
I'm Mike Quick?
I've never said, hey, do you know Raff?
Do you say, hey, do you know me? I'm Mike Quick?
Never.
So why would I go around saying to people, do you know who I am?
No, I didn't say that. I just said, did she like, oh hey Raff, how are you?
I don't remember what pleasantries we exchanged. She had just lost a game. I just said, hey Gretchen, can I talk to you for a couple minutes?
You just said they weren't devastated.
But, yes, but they still lost the game, Mike.
Did you tell her this was going to be on tonight?
Yes.
So then she'll know who you are now, right?
I hope so.
Hi, Gretch.
It's actually really exciting. I started playing attack last year, so to get here and to be able to score that, I was really excited, especially so early on. I think it was just a big, huge relief. I didn't really know until last week, so it was just exciting all around.
So I thought she knew that was something big. That is amazing. 2 years.
2-1 for a team that's on the rise. I mean, it's a great accomplishment.
So they were okay coming out of Section 1.
Yes.
How was our boy Callanan and suffering? I said they were going to win the whole thing.
I thought they were going to win too. I thought they were going to be West Islip. I'll be honest with you. I thought they were going to win.
So, but see, here's the problem I have with you. Every week on the rundown, it says picks.
Right.
You cannot come after the fact and say, well, I thought they were going to win.
Wait a second. Time out.
What happened?
I believe, and we can check the tape on this,
Right.
that on the live chat last week, I said that I believed Suffern was going to win.
You did say that.
So then it's not after the fact. I did say it.
But it was a different show.
Same network. Same network. So I thought West Islip.
Was that the first time you met Callanan?
No, remember I met him early this year
Oh,
at St.
right, when you were
Anthony's
running
game.
off the field at
but
the half.
but I met Cavala's buddy Drab before the game.
Good dude, right?
Yeah, they were good. We were talking, and I thought Suffern was going to win. Were they upset after the game? Of course they were upset. You know, they were there last year. They had high expectations this year. They played their non-league schedule well. You said all season long that they gave Moorestown their closest game of the year. They played St. Anthony's tough. They played Garden City tough.
Lost 9-8 to Moorestown. By the way, Raff, let
Yes,
me ask
Mike.
you a question.
Sure.
You were going on and on and on about Mount Sinai.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And that they could potentially catch McDonough.
Right.
You did not tell me that Moorestown was on this unbelievable win streak.
But they're not in our poll, so we don't talk about Moorestown every week.
But we do talk about Moorestown.
I know, but they're not in our poll. If they were in our poll, then we would talk about them more.
I'm going to predict their win streak, which is now at 77. We'll show you how they did that later. I am going to predict that their win streak will come to an end next year against the Mounties. How about that?
Okay.
So, like, give me the mindset of Callanan after the game.
Well, it actually took a while. I didn't get to speak to him till.
Is that shirt new?
How come we start talking about one thing and then you jump to
Because
something
things
else?
just pop into my head.
Clearly,
Go ahead.
it is a new shirt.
It's nice.
Thanks. I didn't
Like
speak-
on the 4th of July, will you wear that? That would be like a great 4th of July shirt. Will you wear that on the 4th of July?
if you'd like me to.
No, I'm not going to see you.
Oh, why?
Okay. All right, go ahead.
How do you know
seriously.
you're not gonna say
Finish the story.
I didn't speak to him for about a half hour after the game because he was running around. He wanted to talk to his girls first, and then some other people needed to interview him.
He does long post games with his girls, doesn't he?
He does.
Talks for a long
He
time.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a Westchester reporter got him. And on the other semifinal, on the other side of Cortland, West Jenny needed 5 overtimes to win their game. 4 overtimes, 5 periods, but 4 overtimes. So I was over there watching the end of that game.
What does that mean?
Well, we talk about it all the time. The first overtime is 2 periods.
Stupid.
So we were over there watching, and we waited till that game ended before I finally spoke to Callanan because he wanted to watch too. He finally made his way over. Was he upset?
So you were upset that you had to wait for him?
Absolutely not.
Okay, because you said he finally made his
No, he
way
finally
over.
made his way over,
Oh.
and I said, Coach, this game's in 5 overtime. He's like, wow, let's watch the end of this. So he was, listen, the girls were upset. Of course they were upset. But he understands it's a process as well. His team was down early.
How fast did you think Bailey Parrott is?
She's very fast. She's
Told you.
fast, I know.
Told you.
They were down in that game. They showed me something. They tied it at 7, and we're thinking, okay, maybe this is where Suffern makes their run.
Well, who are you there with?
A press box full of people?
But you said we.
Yes, we in the press box.
Oh, so everybody thought Suffern was going to win.
I didn't say they thought they were going to win. We thought this is where they were making their move.
Okay. I'm just asking.
At 7-7, you're trying to stump me and you can't, but at 7-7, we said, okay, here we go. But West Islip pulled away down the stretch. And after the game, I said to him, did you think you had him at 7-7? Here's what he said.
When it went 7-7, I thought, all right, now we're finally figuring things out, because I think we've got a good group of problem solver types of players and the staff as well. So I thought at that point we were going to start to gel, and I think to an extent we did, but I think West Islip played great also.
They're going to win it next year.
I think so. I asked him if this was another learning experience.
They have all but one girl back.
Correct. And he said last year they were just very excited to be there.
Right.
This year was more businesslike.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what next year is going to be.
Mission.
But next year is...
Next year's a mission.
Championship.
Yeah, no, next year's a mission.
Right. Right.
Cavallo was devastated that they lost. He texts Callanan before the game something about, they started shooting squirt guns at each other in 4th grade, and
it was kind of like the same route Farmingdale took 2 years before they had won their 2 in a row. They had lost 2 years in a row.
Gotta lose them before you win them, brother.
So Farmingdale came back and won 2 in a row. Can Suffern come back and win 1? We'll sit here right here next year, and we'll have the answer.
Oh, I'm doing this with you next year?
Well, I mean, I can sit on that side if you want.
You couldn't do this. Do you really, Raff? Do you want to finish? Be the finisher,
right?
And do the show by yourself next week.
I can't.
You don't need an assist. You could be a finisher.
We have a guest to help me finish next week.
No, we don't.
We don't?
We have 2 shows next week, pal.
Oh, okay, but...
See, you don't even know how many shows... How can you do a show
what's it? Again, I just said I'm going to have somebody help me finish next week. What's it? I didn't say 1 show, 2 show. What are you talking about?
No, you said...
You don't even know. You don't even know. You just pop things out and you're trying, and then you get confused. And how did Jackie like that cupcake?
She's mad at me.
Exactly.
I gave it to Katie. I told you I was mad at Jackie. Because you, Jackie...
Oh, wait a second, but you told me on a different show, so it doesn't carry over. That's a good job by you.
Oh, you're good. You have improved so much as a teammate.
Right.
You ever get complaints about your job? Like what you do on this show? You ever get calls, people bother, upset? Ever happen?
Every day.
How do you handle it? Why are you red?
I'm not.
Raff.
Yes, Mike.
No skidoos.
No skidoos.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of teams that lost. You better have put some effort into this poll, pal. You better have. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you know what's funny about this poll? You can say anything you want, but we do consult.
What?
We consult on the poll. I do the poll, and then I run it by you.
Right.
To make sure you're okay with it. And then you...
Why would you check with me?
And then you go and you want to throw me under the bus, but that's okay.
Raff, I just said there better be
That's
movement.
okay. I have thick skin. I don't let people bother me.
You're a finisher.
I don't let buses hurt me. The bus that you threw me under. I just do my job.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So, like, when the teams from Long Island and Section 1, when they headed up, do they take school buses or do they take nice coach buses?
Nice coach buses.
They do?
Sure. I mean, you can't put a high school girls lacrosse team on a school bus and for a 5-hour drive.
How was the ride up with you and Dan?
It was great.
Oh, did what's his name go?
I don't know who.
Well, first of all, we saw Jahelka at the Coliseum Deli. He said he was going to go take his girlfriend
He did not go.
Jahelka didn't go?
He did not show up.
I like Jahelka. His dad's a great guy.
Yep.
People at Post don't like him.
Do not. Because his daughter plays for the
Tore it up for Adelphi
team. The national champion Adelphi Panthers.
Yeah. And then, oh man, I'm drawing a blank. His daughter's the goalie.
Oh, Carpentier?
He didn't take a ride. Rich didn't take a ride?
They did not go up.
They didn't?
They didn't.
You talked to him last week though, right?
Of course. I was texting him updates and Tracy updates every 10 seconds.
That's cute. He's a good dude. He gets it. He's one of the people out there who gets it. So Ridgewood at 20. Ridge ended their season at number 19, Eastport South Manor. They were number 19 last week, too.
Right. Their season ended a few weeks ago at Sayville. So this is the poll now, even though these teams didn't play. We're going to, we keep a bunch of them the same. But that doesn't...
Whoa. We're only up to 19.
I said we only saw 2 of them, but that doesn't mean that next week, when the Connecticut season is finished and we throw all the teams together, something won't change.
Raff, you only have one team from Connecticut in this poll.
I said, but there are more teams playing. Number 18 is Sacred Heart.
They beat Wilton, right?
They did. I was at that game.
And you're going to be potentially at the Wilton game this week, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's 3 times this year I've seen Wilton.
Really?
Yeah, they were at the tournament at Eastport South Manor as well.
Wow. That's incredible for a guy from Long Island. Somers.
17 last week, 17 this week, 17 wins on the season.
Wow, that's cool, Raff, how you did that. 16, Hop Hog. They only had 14 wins. Why didn't you put them at 14?
Because there were 15 teams better than them.
Good answer.
Thanks.
At number 15, buddy, Ridge. We thought they were going to make the TOC. They didn't. They lost in their group final. So they stay at 15. Sayville.
At number 14.
Raff, why didn't we just show last week's show again?
Well, because then we wouldn't be able to show all the state championships.
It doesn't seemingly...
And then you wouldn't be able to get all on edge and try to stump me.
At number 13. Do you know the reason that a lot of people think you're still doing this show is because of how Lauren cooks? Farmingdale.
Farmingdale at number 13. They have 11 wins.
Are we going out to dinner with Sherry next week?
We sure are.
We are? Mm-hmm. Did you pick a place?
We did not.
Is Tracy coming?
I hope so.
You guys don't get along. At number 12.
Mount Sinai.
How in the world did you drop them 10 spots last week?
You just keep on going. You don't stop.
What happened? Did you get a call?
There was somebody who was upset that they dropped.
Justify why you dropped them so far.
Justify why we dropped them so far because of who they lost to and the way everything else shaped up after that. Listen, if you take the top teams above them, 11, how would they match up? No one knows because every game is different.
Right.
But I think that the teams above Mount Sinai are better than Mount Sinai. Listen, the team right above them, and we're going to see in a second, is Bayport. And they lost to Bayport.
But they beat Bayport in the regular season, right?
But you have professed for years, oh Grandmaster, you have professed that it's how you finish.
Buddy, you have to stick with your knittings. You got to stay right there. That's a good job by you if you truly believe it. It's about how you finish.
But you
finish.
Correct. And you can't be ahead of the team that just beat you. And then the team above them is the team that beat them. So there's a pattern. I didn't just say, okay, here we go, Mount Sinai, where do you want to be?
When you got the call,
yes,
was it handled professionally?
Of course.
Was there any thank yous for all the nice things you've said this year?
I think maybe. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think, I'm sure. I don't remember.
Are they in your tournament next year?
They are not.
They didn't ask in?
They have not asked in.
Okay.
But a lot of talk this weekend about the tournament. People are very
Why
excited.
are we talking about this? Why didn't we talk about it in the beginning?
We can talk about it once we see the next team in the poll. Okay. How about that?
Good. Now you're producing. Bayport, Blue Point. Are they better than Mount Sinai?
They beat them. There you go. And at number 10, the team that beat Bayport to win the Long Island Championship. Cold Spring Harbor.
So it makes sense what you did here. So the Seahawks are at 10.
Right.
There's a rhythm.
Of course there's a rhythm. Again, I just don't throw teams. But before we get to the highlights from Cold Spring Harbor, as I was saying, there was a lot of talk this weekend about the tournament.
Right.
I was with...
What's up with DeBellis?
Great guy.
Do you know, I heard Like Pav told me he was a great guy. Pav called me last week. Is Pav jumping on DeBellis' coattails?
Do you know what Pav told me?
I can only.
Do you know what Pav texted me?
What?
There's no one that knows girls lacrosse like me.
See, what?
That's what he
Like
said.
you?
No, like him.
I know.
And then
He says he's a historian.
and then what does his history go back to when Allie
6
started
years,
playing?
yeah.
And then he followed it up by, I should be a guest on your show.
What show?
A guest of what?
A guest of horror.
How many girls lacrosse games does this guy go to other than Northport?
It's a good point. He
And
goes to Danielle's games.
Other than Northport.
Well, Danielle's not in high school.
But she's still in Northport.
Good point.
So he claims to know. Listen, he may know lacrosse, he may know the summer league and all that stuff, but this is a high school show.
Good job,
This is
buddy.
not a summer league show.
Right, right.
So we go up based on high school teams. And this is no
Is
knock.
he in the boardroom with you, Carol Rose, and
Is
Tracy?
Pav in the boardroom?
Yeah.
No. There's a cardboard thing of him out by your desk. That's the only board about Pav.
Oh, wow, this is personal now. So I used to think that this was a joke between you and Pav.
Right.
No, it's no joke anymore.
So,
Will you hold this against Allie in the postseason?
of course not.
Okay.
I don't let crazy parents affect what I do for the
No, because you have
for
to
the
finish.
athletes.
You have to finish.
Right.
So what are they talking about in this tournament?
Oh, that just the Cold Spring Harbor is. Well, I don't know where you go half the time. You could be talking about my blue shirt and Lauren in the Bahamas again. No, they're very excited. They think it's going to be a great tournament. Like I said, we have 9 teams. They love the
You
charity.
need to settle in on a date soon so these teams can start putting
We're
their
going
schedule.
to as soon as we finish this
Yeah,
show.
it can't today.
No,
Oh.
this show for the season we're gonna get working on.
So next week, we cannot put it in March
Okay.
because I wouldn't, even if McDonough, it wouldn't be any good if they came up in March. Okay, I would like to see you put this event like the 3rd week of April.
Not spring break week.
Is that the 3rd week?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Well, but Raff, spring breaks are different everywhere.
Right, that's true. But we'll have to figure it out.
Right. So you got to call Nolan, the superintendent of schools from Sachem, and he'll know everything that's going on,
Okay.
and we'll talk to him.
Okay.
All right. Raff, what about this Skinny Atlas game? Heartbreaker? You okay?
Heartbreaker. Just the way it ended. Have you seen the video yet? No. Okay. Skinny Atlas from the Syracuse area. Things looking good for Cold Spring in the second half. Brooke Jensen, one of her 3. Cold Spring up 8-5. They were trailing 10-9. Ashley Lynch ties the game at 10. And then later, it's Tara Atkinson. Her second of the game. Cold Spring Harbor's up 11-10. Okay, here we go. Now tied at 11. Watch the way this ends. Final seconds of the game. They think they get a shot. They get a missed shot. The loose ball in front, and the girl is wide open with 2 seconds left. And that's how Skinny Atlas wins the championship. Cold
You've
Spring Harbor.
gotta be kidding
Second
me.
place.
That's how they lost. You told me it was crazy. The first girl whiffed on the shot.
Whiffed on the shot, loose ball in front.
Oh.
It looked like she got the ball, it went up in the air, they had her stick on it, they got a shot off it, he clanked in off the pipe, and the girl who scored, who had no goals in the game, put the ball in.
That is, I mean, that we
And
like
she-
to have fun on this show. That is a horrible way to lose.
She
the
called it
state
a lucky
champion.
bounce, she called it fate.
Luck is the residue of hard work.
Okay, so she worked hard and got the goal.
It was kind of lucky. Who'd you talk to? That had to be tough. The post game had to be
It
tough.
was tough. You know what, though? This is another team like Bronxville who's very young. You know what I'm going to say? Class C next year on Long Island is going to be phenomenal. I think it might be better than the big schools because you got Cold Spring Harbor, just about everybody back. Bayport, Blue Point, everybody back. Mount Sinai, just about everybody back. So those 3 teams
Well,
are
they
going to
had
be
a
right
lot
in the
of
mix
kids
again.
back this year, and look what you did to them at the end of the year.
but a lot of them, they graduate. Shayna Parekha, but they're gonna be back again next year, and Sydney Parekha, Casey Mitchell, will be back. But were they upset after the game? Yes, of course.
See,
they were
Mount
upset.
Sinai should get out of conference and play some bigger schools. They should.
If they were in our tournament, we could have had them play.
They didn't ask in?
No.
It's a bad job.
Afterwards, I spoke to Holly Logan. Now, Holly Logan broke her wrist. She played with a broken wrist.
Are you serious?
The day
she better be the Raffy Award winner.
The day before, she was in a brace, so she didn't play both games this weekend.
I don't care. She played one with a broken wrist?
And she played well, so we talked to her after the game.
I think that we've been on a great journey, and honestly, this is a huge stepping stone for our program, especially we haven't gotten this far since 1993, as like we've said a billion times, and I think that it's just a great stepping stone for next year, and I think we're going to come back even stronger.
All those girls that you saw in the field today will all be back next year, and now they know what it feels like. They know what it's like to be here in this atmosphere, what it takes to play at this level, and if this doesn't fire them up for next year, I don't know what will.
Those are gigantic shades Danielle had on. They were huge.
She's getting married in 3 weeks.
Really?
Yep.
Are you going?
I wasn't invited.
Are you serious?
Why would I be invited to Danielle Scacandia's wedding?
I don't know. I mean, there can't be any bigger fan of the program.
Where did she play high school?
Manhasset.
No. Couple more guesses. You're close.
Garden City.
No, one more.
Cold Spring
Oh,
Harbor.
come on, one more.
Long Beach.
No, you would.
Oceanside.
Oh, she's a Daler.
Oh, really?
Yes, she learned from the best. She'll get this team figured out and get them that championship.
Now, when you say learn from the best, what does that mean?
The coaches at Farmingdale.
So the Farmingdale coaches are by far the best coaches on Long Island?
Well, they're pretty good.
But you said the best.
I mean, they have 3 state championships. I mean, Chappie has probably 27 state championships, but at Garden City. But you win 3 state championships in the big division. That's up there with the best. Wouldn't you agree?
I thought they handled the loss pretty well.
They did. Absolutely.
Broken wrist. That's incredible. At number 9.
Look, Mike, they didn't move down.
Stop saying that. That's so mean.
Why? Because every week you knock me for it, so.
Who do they open with next year? They should open with Sacred Heart. They should. Oh, I saw Maggie Speck. Do you know who Maggie Speck is?
No, Mike.
She's graduating from Sacred Heart.
Okay.
I saw her over at Belmont, and she says they love you at Sacred. She goes to Sacred Heart.
Okay.
She's a great girl. Kathy and John, her parents, great people. Dad's a big shot in the FDNY.
Everybody loves me.
What?
Everybody loves me. Lauren's number 1, but everyone else is, you know.
So Maggie's a great girl. Unless it affects you, you don't really seem to care. At number 8, Garden City.
I don't think if Mount Sinai played Garden City, I'm pretty sure Garden City would win that game.
You are really going crazy about Mount Sinai.
No, but we're still explaining. We're explaining. I know.
Okay, would they beat the number 7 team then? Wantaw. No, Raff, this is a verbal show. You don't whisper things
I didn't
to
whisper
me.
anything.
You know, would they beat Wantaw?
Well, I just said they wouldn't beat Garden City, and Wantaw beat Garden City at the end when it mattered, so there's your answer.
At number 6, Raff, Mountain Lakes, 23-2. They closed the year. They bow out the tournament champions semifinals.
And we have highlights of that coming up in a couple minutes. They were on an amazing run, but like you said, the run came to an end at the hands of Summit.
Raff, so we've gone from 20 to 6.
Yeah.
And this is the exact same poll as last week. At number 5, there better be a change here.
Are we just going to change teams just for the sake of changing teams to make good internet or good television?
Nope.
Exactly.
Okay, there's Darien will play.
They beat
2 more
Danbury
games.
this week. They beat Newtown this week. They play Cheshire tomorrow.
No, today, right?
Today.
Yeah, today's the 10th.
Today's the 10th.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good idea to check the date before you do these shows. You'll be at that championship game?
If they beat Cheshire, I'll be there regardless.
Okay, whoa.
If they beat Cheshire.
Wait a minute. If...
What?
So you think Cheshire has a chance
No, I
against
said everybody has a chance when the game starts.
No, they don't.
Yes, of course they do.
They don't.
They do.
No, they don't.
You're going to get some upset Cheshire people.
What?
You're going to upset some Cheshire people. They're going to be very mad at you.
Okay. Deal with it Saturday when they're watching Darien play for the championship. At number 4.
West Islip, we showed...
Oh, no, to me, I thought it was
Suffern. They lost. Well, you want to change. I was just making some changes on the fly.
Yeah, but not a...
West Islip beat Suffern to end Suffern's season.
Here's how it happened.
Suffern jumped in front early, tied it 1 when Caitlin Leary feeds Dana Gisono, cutting to the net, puts the Mounties up 1. The Lions respond with the next 3. Around the defense goes Vanessa Constantino, and in, it's a 4-2 game. Check out how Suffern ends. Mike, you're gonna like this goal. Watch. Loose ball in front. Whoops.
Ooh. Well, that's terrific.
Leary steals it and puts it in to cut the deficit to 4-3. Second half, Lions up 1, make it 2. Grace Davidson fires and scores. 7-5.
Did you ask her about those cleats?
I didn't notice the cleats. The Section 1 team, we said they tied it at 7. Gisono had back-to-back goals. It was tied with 9 minutes to play, but that's where their luck ran out. After a steal, Lindsay Darrell feeds our friend Riley Hill to put the Lions back up 1. She added another.
Marquette.
West Islip wins.
That was
9-7.
a great pass. Brought the defense and then got Hill coming down the alley.
Yeah. Did you like that little steal by Leary, though, taking it right out?
That was
I mean,
incredible.
she had that much room, and she went in and took it.
Looked like it was a good game.
It was a great game.
You're into both of those schools.
I am.
So that was a tough game for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're there as a reporter, not as a fan.
Listen, I wasn't rooting for either team. The Suffern guy said, how come you're not wearing our Suffern gear at the game?
Did they really?
They did. I said, I'm not sure I can do that. Like, I know your heart breaks when Don Bosco football loses.
It's not true.
100%.
Only if they lose to an out-of-area team. I want any one of our teams that plays a team in the area. You know who I root for? Good game.
That's why I just said I was not rooting for either team. I was rooting for a good game.
But then you made it personal.
But
with me.
if Bosco loses to a non-area team, you're crushed.
I think a lot of kids from Suffern go to Don Bosco. Did you know that?
Do they?
Yeah. It's terrible. Summit. The boys lost in the Tournament of Champions final to Del Barton. The girls, like the boys, were leading in this game against a team in Moorestown that had won 76 consecutive games. The reason Summit got there, Raff, is because they beat your number 6 team, Mountain Lakes, in the semis.
First half, Callie Humphrey takes the feed and scores. It's 4-1 Summit. Mountain Lakes down 4-2. Jackie Perry. Ooh, look at that shot.
That's what we do in TV. We look.
4-3, Mountain Lakes down by 1. Mountain Lakes still down by 1. Rachel Charecki off the free position, bounces it in. We're tied at 5. Here comes Summit. Megan Selmer. I hope I'm saying that name right. Like abusing the defense at 6-5 Summit. Same score, Olivia Kelly. Watch her use the pick. Finds an opening, spins off, and scores to make it 7-5. And they weren't done scoring. It's Selmer again. Around the crease, goes top shelf. It's 8-5 Summit. It's now 8-6 when Olivia Kelly puts it in again. 9-6. Summit goes on to win 11-9. Their last win of the season, like you said, before they lost to Moorestown in the TOC finals.
It's amazing. So they dumped Mountain Lakes in the TOC semifinals. The Mountain Lakes boys lost to Summit in the TOC semifinals. And then Summit goes on to the championship. In the boys, loses to Del Barton. The girls lose to South Jersey, and national power Moorestown, 26-0. That's now 3 consecutive years unbeaten. They run the win streak to 77. Is that the second longest in girls lacrosse
believe so.
history?
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about bringing Moorestown up to our tournament next year since McDonough's too scared to come in?
That's an unbelievable idea. Now, they don't get this, so you're going to have to read. That's an unbelievable idea. So what you need to do, here's what you do. You call Callahan. They play them.
Right.
So now, because he wanted to play McDonough, right?
He did.
Okay, so you bring Moorestown up here.
Well, I was talking to Tracy about the tournament because Farmingdale's in it, and she asked me if I heard back from McDonough, and I told her what happened.
She didn't watch the show last week?
This was before the show.
We did the show last. Well, that was before what?
So I asked her. She asked me about McDonough, and I told her, and she said, "Well, why don't you bring Moorestown in?"
See, that's why Tracy needs to be involved more. She's a thinker.
Right. So anyway, we'll reach out to Moorestown.
Good.
See if they want to make the trip. I'm sure
they're going to do it.
They're not afraid.
No, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
And we will get them in a good game.
That's great. That's great, Raff. This is really starting to take on a life of its own.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're liking it.
The final unbeaten team in our tri-state top 20 is no more.
Is no more. Was West Islip.
How do they stay at 2?
Where'd you want them to go?
I'm just asking.
They lost in the state championship game.
That's all. To a non-area team.
To a non-area team.
All I needed
So
you
if
to
West
say.
Jenny was in the poll,
Right.
West Jenny would be ahead.
So
of
West Jenny wasn't tired after the 5 overtime or 4, whatever it is?
I thought that they were going to be tired, but here we go. Here's how it happened. West Islip fell behind 3-0 in the opening minutes, but Lena Rippertella ties the game at 3. Okay. The girls from Syracuse would score the next 2, but Rippertella takes the feed and answers again. She had a game-high 5 goals. West Islip down 5-4.
She had a great year, didn't she?
She did. She's young, too. They had to play catch-up all game. Lindsay Darrell, her only goal of the game, pulls them within 1, but it got no closer. West Jenny responds with 4 straight, and West Islip, there's Riley getting a hug. West Islip loses 15-7. Do you know West Jenny is 7-0 in state championship finals?
Really? The boys used to be good like that.
Yeah.
Is Elmer the glue to this team? 4 goals and 5 assists?
Is Elmer the glue? That's pretty funny. I like that.
Answer the question. She had 9 of the 15 points, pal.
Okay.
Answer the question.
Glue, yeah, sure. Elmer's glue. I like it.
But was she that good? I don't want to do this show next year.
Do you know that Joe Cuso told me that? Was it Joe Cuso? Somebody told me that the West Jenny boys are just living off their name now.
Joe doesn't like it. He's not a big Messier fan.
No.
Who'd you talk to, Raff?
After the game?
Tough one?
Yeah, so...
What was the tougher post-game to do? West Islip or Cold Spring Harbor?
West Islip.
Really?
Oh, they were upset. Lindsay Darrell is one of the competitors, one of the great competitors this season, and she took it hard. They all took it hard. She was a little shaken up after the game.
I love every single one of the girls on my team, and it's just, I know that we had a fantastic season. It's just very disappointing to end like this.
We made history, you know. It's amazing. All you can do is smile about it. It stinks, but we'll be back.
We had something special, and we shown it throughout our season, and even though we didn't come out with the victory in the States game, we made history in West Islip.
All those girls handled themselves great.
And Riley's right. They made history. They were the first team to win a county title. They were the first team to finish the regular season undefeated. They were the first team to win a Long Island championship from West Islip. They were the first team to win a state tournament game. Look at all the firsts they made. So, a great season. They lost. They came up short against a battle-tested team.
Raff, when you don't play for a tie, how can there be 2 victors in a championship?
Did you think about that all week?
No, I just thought of it right now.
Okay.
I swear. It's pretty good.
That's great.
How is it possible, Raffy?
Because when you play him in Hassett, Victor from Rochester gave him a good run.
And here we go, Manhasset.
Our number
as I
one
told
team.
you,
Yes, Mike.
I said to you they were going to finish number 1 in the poll. I said it about 8 weeks ago.
Maybe next week we just won't put them number 1 just so you're not right. The girls from Rochester jumped in front 2-1, but
You're
the Indians
vindictive.
answer right back. Julia Glynn.
Oh, she's great.
We're all even at 2. But Mike, how about this? Victor scored the next 5 goals. 5 straight goals. With 9 minutes to play in the first half, everyone's thinking, oh my God, Victor's up 7-2.
Did you think Manhasset was in trouble?
It wasn't looking good. Julia Glynn cut the deficit to 3 right there, but you're still thinking, all right, they needed 1 more before the half. And then with the clock winding down, 3, 2, 1. Catherine Hallett with 1 second left makes it 7-5 at the break. So now you're thinking, okay, they have the momentum. They need some good goaltending. And Erin Coleman, who didn't have a good first half, had a much better second half. Makes a big save there. Now we're tied at 7 when Glenn feeds Lindsay Ronbeck on the doorstep. He gives them their first lead of the game, 8-7. A few minutes later, it's Hallett again. Manhasset ended the game on a 9-0 run. Look at this celebration. Erin Coleman gets on her knees and the whole team comes over. They ended the game on a 9-0 run. They held Victor scoreless for 35 minutes, the final 35 minutes of the game, which in girls lacrosse is unheard of. They stopped free positions. They played great defense. And I will say one thing. We didn't show it in the highlights. I think the game changed when Manhasset made an adjustment, and not one that you're going to see, in a whole bunch of places. They took Jackie DeLeva, a senior going to UPenn.
Quaker.
She's a stud defenseman. And they put her on the draw. And she's done it before, but she doesn't do it often. And they put her there, and when they put her there, the game changed.
Raff, does it surprise you that this is their first state titles in 11 years?
Since 2003, it does. Well, no.
Because of Garden City.
They were in C for a couple of years, but the dynasty of Shore and Wading River was there, where they were winning all those state titles, and when they were in B, Garden City. So they've had good teams, but they ran into dynasties. Maybe this is the start of the Manhasset dynasty.
Do you think in some of those years when Garden City won the state title, that Manhasset was the second best team in the state, but they never got out of their county?
Could have been. Absolutely.
Where'd you rank them?
Manhasset?
Yeah.
We didn't have polls back then.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
You weren't doing mock bowls?
After the game, they went back home to Long Island. Coach Gallagher and all the underclassmen on the team drove down to Ocean City, Maryland for a tournament.
You're kidding.
I actually called Coach Gallagher the next day, about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I asked her if she can be somewhere at 6 o'clock, and she goes, I can't. So it's noisy where you are. She was coaching. It's unbelievable. One state championship done, and she goes
Why
on.
isn't she in the boardroom with you guys?
I'm not sure who's in the boardroom, but she's not in the boardroom with us. I'm not even in the boardroom most of the time.
But you're there some of the time.
And after the game, we talked to a whole bunch of excited girls, including who I just told you had the momentum-changing plays, Jackie DeLeva.
We want it. And I think that wanting it can overcome any obstacle, especially when you want it that bad. We took a deep breath and we said, listen, this is the last time we're wearing the jersey for this season, so let's play our game. And we did.
Was there panic down 7-2?
For me, there was. I was feeling very nervous, a lot of pressure at the time, but I knew that we just needed to step up. And I knew we could do it all along. We just needed to get into the momentum and go with the flow.
Yeah, I was very nervous, but my team and I kept our head held high, and we didn't let anything stop us or slow us down. We kept our momentum, and we got them back.
Before we started this game, on the loudspeaker, it said that we were number 1 in the state, and we just wanted to keep it that way.
Number one
in the state. Number 1 in the tri-state, Julia.
Well, that's true, but I'm not sure the announcer at Cortland came over and said, for all you MSG varsity people. But they are number 1 in the state, they are number 1 in the tri-state, and unless they lose this week, they will end the season at number 1 in the tri-state.
Are you surprised they finished the way they did?
No, they were great finish. Great finishers.
I think you went through the motions this week. I think you were busy with other parts of your workload, and you just said, you know what, let's just throw up last week's poll. What do you think?
I disagree with you.
That's fine.
I disagree.
We don't have to agree.
I think that the way everything played out, everybody finished where they deserved to be.
Will you be giving out a Raffy next week?
Well, it'll have to come from Darien or Wilton
Oh, so you don't think New Canaan can
or
beat...
New Canaan
See, that's what you...
or Cheshire.
No.
No, what?
There's no way Cheshire's winning.
But I'm telling you, it could be somebody from Cheshire. I'm not even sure where Cheshire is, but
It's near Hamden.
okay. Is that near Hartford?
Do you know...
Is that up near Hartford?
What?
Is that up near Hartford?
It's on the way to Hartford.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So DeBellis called you last week and actually said thank you for naming Sam the winner of the Raffy?
He did.
He referred to it as the Raffy.
He did. He said thank you so much. It means a lot to Sam and our family.
Who's this week's Raffy?
Julia Glynn. Yeah, look at that. My head is on the stick. She's shooting me. She had 2 goals and an assist in the semifinal against Burnt Hills. And then the big reason she won is because what she did against Victor. Listen, down 7-2. And again, we thought, the entire press box, I think the stadium, some of the girls admitted it. At 7-2, you don't expect a big comeback. She put a team on her back and she said, we are going to do this. She had 4 goals. She had 3 assists. She was flat out sensational.
Best player on the team?
Yes. Best all-around player on the team.
How good is Harvard's women's lacrosse team?
I'm not really sure, but they get in Julia, so they should be a lot better.
Think she'll hang out with Duvniak and Dwyer when she gets... Oh, Dwyer's a Garden City guy, right?
Yeah, and Jahelka.
Jahelka.
But Garden City and Manhasset don't hate each other. We talked about that last
No,
week.
Jahelka told me he still dislikes one of those Garden City cats, right?
Wantagh.
Wantagh. That's a good job by you. Wantagh. You making picks this week?
Yes. I picked Darien to beat Cheshire tomorrow. Today.
Raff, this show gets on after the game.
But I'm saying it before the game.
But nobody knows that.
I'm telling you right now, they have not played the game yet. They have not played the game, and I am picking Darien to win.
That's it?
You hungry?
No, hold on. So next week, you alluded to the fact that you were going to have a special guest here.
Right.
Who's that?
You'll have to tune in to find out.
No, you need to tell the people.
No, I don't.
We have the 3rd annual All-Metro Girls All-Star Team.
Correct.
How difficult is this team going to be? You and Tracy, I guess, are going to try to figure it out tonight?
Yeah, we're going to figure out. This
So what,
week,
will there be 13 Farmingdale girls on the team?
Yeah, we're going to just name the Farmingdale team the All-Metro team, and everyone else can settle for second. And
It'll be on, we're going to tape it next Tuesday.
Okay.
It'll be on next Wednesday night. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We're doing the boys. We're taping the boys on Tuesday. It's going to be on Thursday. This is I think without question, the most difficult postseason teams to pick. We do football, basketball, lacrosse. I think by far is lacrosse. There are so many good players, so many few positions, and this is a tri-state team.
Correct. So I think, and I think what makes it hard for the girls, harder than the boys, at least from my perspective, is that girls lacrosse is so offensive driven. So, you have to figure out how to get defense in, how to get offense in.
Right.
It's mostly offense.
Are you picking more than one goalie?
We haven't in years past.
I'm just asking. How many? So break down the team. How many attack?
That'll all be discussed in the boardroom.
Oh, so we don't even know yet.
No.
But we're not going to go 10 attacks, a pole, or they don't have poles.
They don't have poles.
One defensive player and a goalie, right?
No, we're going to go attacks and middies.
Are you having an MVP?
Without a doubt.
Do you know who it is yet?
I have a good idea.
Oh, so you can pick the MVP, but you can't pick the team?
Well, again, we're going to discuss it in the boardroom. I have a good idea as to who is going to be the MVP. Will that person end up being the MVP? I'm not sure.
I'm going to tell you this, Raff. They better be as good as last week's. That's all I'm saying.
The food?
Yeah. Even Brian Butler was asking you today, did she bring stuff?
Did Jackie like last week's?
I told you I didn't give it to her. I was upset with her that she made me in collusion with you and Jimmy.
And I even brought in one for her the next day. And you still
No,
didn't...
2 days later. 2 days later.
Okay.
I gave it to Katie. Let's go.
What shape do you like? Do you like it in cupcake shape or cake form?
What?
What I'm going to hand you. I have 2 different shapes.
Well, if it was later in the day, I would like it in cake form. But since this is earlier in the day, I'd like it in cupcake form.
Okay. Do you like carrot?
I do like carrot.
So we have.
Yeah, I'm gonna like these. I'm gonna take that one.
Do you like raisins?
I'm not a huge raisin fan.
Oh, you are too high maintenance.
Is there coconut in this?
I don't know. I didn't cook them. Lauren cooked them.
Has she been busy?
She's very busy.
Really?
Oh, these are really good. I haven't even tasted them.
If Lauren made something that you didn't like, would you tell her?
Depends what it was.
Oh my God. These are incredible. She does nothing. There's only one thing she's done wrong in her life.
There's the joke about me.
No, I was going to say she should have taken you to the Bahamas.
And then she made some in a cake form too.
I'll eat that tonight. I've noticed that she's not making as much as she used to.
Sure she is.
This is really
She made you a cake and a cupcakes.
I love Lauren.
I do too.
Raff, so that'll be it. Next week we do 2 shows.
2
Final
shows.
Top 20.
Okay.
Girls All Metro.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, these are really good.
Enjoy.
Anything else?
I'm done.
Yes, you
See you
are.
next week.